Okay, welcome back. So this tutorial we're going to build on what we've done in the previous ones, and we need to build this little return or wall that comes next to the door. And to do that, we are going to add another node or point there, and we're going to do that by moving 0.5 up in the Y direction and across in the X direction over to there, and then we can draw another rectangle in there. What we need to figure out is, rather than just putting in a measurement for that, we need to figure out the relationship of that point. So here we can see that's the wall thickness and the door thickness. So it's actually quite easy just to make that 0.6 parametric based on those conditions that we've already set up. So basically we just need to move, or in essence copy 0.5, put the 0.5 and over and create 0.6. So let's jump back into Rhino, and so we've got 0.5 here, so which we use. So we need to move that again, so type in a move. So while that's a move geometry, if we select on it, you can see it's 0.5. So there, so we've got to move that up and across, so we can take that geometry, and then we've just got to figure out the motion. So what did we say? We've got to move it in that, if we do the X first, and then the Y, how are we going to do that? Well, let's try it and see what happens. We may need to add another point, but let's just see what we can do. So we're going to move it across in the Y, in the X first, so that's the door width. So let's try that. So let's so we need X. Let's put in the X vector first, X, so we need it in that direction first, and then we need to get, what was it, the door width. So the door width, so we can bring this over, and it's a bit slow, but bring that into there. So that brings us over to there, but we want to be up in that spot there, so we've got to move it in the Y direction. So the way that I know is that we'll just transform it again. So let's copy that, so do that, and then make that the geometry. And we need a new motion because that just moves it along. So we need, what was it? So we've got the door width. Now we need the wall thickness and which direction we want. So come down here, have a look. Y. So we want it in the Y direction. So if we set that in there, add that to the motion, and then we need to go find that wall thickness. So there. It gets used a lot, doesn't it? So we can bring that back across to there. So then you can see now we've got the 0.6 that we wanted. So we can actually just turn that one preview off. And then now we need to draw a rectangle in there. Hopefully that'll work. Let's just check and see how that goes. So is that in the right Z coordinate? I don't know if we've got that in the right way. Let's have a check. It's really easy to get a bit confused, so it's good to just check in here. So if we select that, that's actually up high, so we've got to come back down in the Y direction. So was that the right one to do? Let me have a think. Was it better actually to work from there and across? Not sure. It's a tough one in a way. What do we need? Because we actually need to change the Z direction. Let's move it again down. Well, let's double check. Let's see what's actually going on. See what height that is. So let's, if we go back to Photoshop, and we can look at the plan, but actually we want to look at some of these other views as well. It sort of tells us that it's got this big box around it, so we can't actually see, and we can't see the return in that section. Images, and we can see that it's sort of at the bottom of that. So if we click on this, you can see it's at the bottom of the floor because that's the floor height there. So we actually need to drop it down in the Z direction as well. Let's have a look and figure out how we can do that. So to do that, we just need to drop that down in the Z direction. So we can just do the same. So we can take that, we can just type in move there, and then we can take that geometry, and we want it to be the floor thickness, I think. So let's see if we can find that floor thickness. But we need to do it in a negative, don't we? So we need to, let's come back here, and we need negative, so we need to make it negative, and then we need to make it in the Z. So Z. So let's just do it this way and into there. Those are coming up orange because they haven't got all the information. We'll just come back and get the floor thickness and pipe that into, where keep going, into that value. So now if we look in this view, let's click on that, we can see it's in there. And if we turn that preview off on that one and select that, we can see we're in the right place. And we can make a rectangle now. So we can do surface, primitive, plane surface, and we've got that as our starting point. And then what do we got? Let's go back to Photoshop and back up to here. So we've got that 0.6. We need to go up in the Y direction that far, so we'll have to measure that because we don't know. But the X is the wall thickness, so that's easy. So let's get back to here and turn on the guides, and then go to ruler, click there and up, hold down shift to keep it vertical, about there. What's that? Let's say 1500, 1.5 meters. Come back to here. So we need to draw that, so we can come in. We've got dual width. Let's do 1500 and call that. Oh, no, don't do that. There. Draw return, we can call it. So that's the Y direction, isn't it? So we can grab that, pull it all the way across here, keep going into Y, and then we can see on the plan view that we've got a line going up. So now we need that wall thickness. So we can come back here. Where are we? Wall thickness, and pull this all the way over, come on, to there, and we have that little return in 2D. So we need to extrude it now, so we can just extrude. So that's our base, and then we need the direction, so we want that in the Z, which we should have back here. So we need to find, where are we? is the wall height, and then in the Z unit. So we can actually take it from there and bring that over all the way slowly over to on into there. So if we look at it in 3D, you can see now we have that return. What we've got, so we can put that in there for now. So we've done, let's group, or let's create a label. So shift ampersand, not ampersand, tilde, and then we'll just call it return here. Return, oh, turn 1. So that's there, and then we can group all of that. Oh, hang on, we've got that, but we want to just make clear that that's 0.6. So let's put another one in here. 0.06. So that those points become useful just as a way for us to understand what's going on. And then we can group all of this and group that. So we've got return 1. Now what we want to do is we've got that, we want to join that. So we don't have a join as such, but we do have a thing called union. So if we go up to intersect again, shapes, there's one there, solid union. So we can click on that and bring that down. Let's put them in there, into there. And then we can take this one and hold down shift and add those two together. What's probably better, let's undo that, is, and undo it again, let's bring this up here, put this in first because that's then the primary one rather than this one. So we can take that and feed that, hold down shift and feed that into there, just a little bit neater, tidier, and then we can turn the preview off of that. So now we can click on that, we've got a nice complete solid for box 1, and then we can do another one over here. So let's go back over here, go to Photoshop, and let's have a look in here. So 0.7, so we need to move it across that way and down, and then we need to check in the Z direction as well. So we're going to move the door thickness in the negative Y direction, negative X, and we have to check what height that is. So we'll probably have to move it down a level as well. So let's go back to there and go to Rhino. So we wanted to go from that point over to there, so that was 0.4 I think, which is in here hopefully. Yep, 0.4, and we can see that is on the floor plane, and we've got to put it down to the ground, so we've got to move it in all those directions, and they're all in the negative. So what we can do is we can set that up a little bit. So if we do a little move, we're going to have to do this a few times. This is just one way of doing it. There's other ways of doing it as well. So this is just useful as a learning tool to get how the geometry is working. So I'm going to use that as the geometry. Then we need a negative. So let's start with the X. So negative, what was that? The wall thickness, is that right? No, X is the door thickness. Okay, so let's come up to here. So we've got wall, door width is a better term. So we can feed that down into the negative. What's going on? We also need which direction, because we haven't said that. So we need to type in X. So we need to the vector. So rather than just going straight in, we need to tell it to go in the negative X. So that was the door width. Come back up, have a look, so we can see that's in the right place. So we want to move that again. Move. So take that geometry, and the motion is going to be negative again, but this is going to be the Y. So let's type in Y. Is that a vector? We forgot to do that in the last one. So feed all those in, and this is the wall thickness now, isn't it? So Y is that one, so we need the wall thickness. If we come up to wall thickness, we can drag that down, come on, into there. Then we have those, so we can turn that one off. And then now, if we remember, that's in the wrong plane, so it needs to drop down to the ground plane, so to speak. So back down to there. So we need to know the floor thickness, don't we? So let's move it again. Move. And this is in the Z direction because we're going down. So Z, feed that in. And we've got that geometry. And then we need negative because we want it to go down. Feed that over. And then we need the floor thickness. Where are we? Floor thickness. So we can take that and bring that across, and then we have that, and we can turn that one we just used off, and we select this, and we've got our starting point in the right place. So we can just sort of compress that all up a little bit. Not the neatest, but you get the idea. Maybe if we bring this around a bit. Yeah. Then Y. And then Z. Then we want a surface plane. And then that's the starting point. And what was it? We need these sizes. I can't remember, so let's go back and have a look on Photoshop. So if we want X is that way, so we a negative X of the wall thickness, and then also a negative Y of that return length. So we can come over here and back. So let's just get those. So we just need some negatives, don't we? Negative there, and then click on it, option on the Mac, and I think that would be Alt on the PC to copy it, so we can feed those into there. So what did we want? X is the wall thickness, so we can pull that from here, wall thickness, bring that across. There, and then we need the door return. Where was that? Door width, door return. Here we go. And we can bring that across. Come on. Into there. And then we've got that little return. And then we need to extrude it, don't we? So extrude, select that one there. And then that geometry there is the base and the direction. So we can steal the direction from this one, which was the wall height in the Z direction. So we don't need to put that Z direction again. So that we've got the vector we can just use. Feed that into there. We can see that now magically appear in 3D. And let's go back and find this one. So we want to do what was that? That was under intersect. and then that was the union, solid union, so we can come and put that down. So if we take box 2 and feed that over, and then take that extrusion and hold down shift and feed them in, so we can turn preview off and that one off. So maybe just bring that up. So what have we got? We've got 0.7 there, so let's put that in. 0.07 there, just so we remember that that's there. And then we've also got return to, so we know that. So let's group all of this, make a group. So now we've got that, you can see is selecting all of that, and then also that. So the next, let's just finish by checking what we need to do for the next part of the tutorial. I think these returns will be really useful. So if we go into Safari, we've done those returns, sorry, it's the little slits that are cut out. So where's some views of those? Oh, there, a little bit hard to see. Maybe, oh, not that way, keep going this way. There, so we need to cut these out is the next step. So I'll stop there